I think we are getting to what I've always felt is the heart and soul of sociological study and the biggest opportunity for us to look at the world in ways that are more respectful, kinder, thinking about what other people are going through. And so hopefully these topics that are being discussed this week mean as much to you as they do to me. So as you can see, with social inequalities, we're going to talk about um, five different terms. So the first one you've heard of, prejudice. I would say that most of us are prejudicial in some way, unintended, I'm sure, myself included. You can catch yourself making assumptions, right? Thinking of something about a person or a group of people, or quite honestly, sometimes feeling not even thinking, just kind of reacting in ways that we possibly haven't analyzed, that we've been socialized to do problematically. And so we are making unkind judgments. And I think all of us, myself included, like I said, I never want to do that. Look at you people, you prejudicial people. I'm cured by sociology. No, 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 no. I'm a human being. I'm going to be just as fallible as anybody possibly could be. I would argue, though, that I think the vast majority of us, thank goodness gracious, um, aren't discriminatory, I would hope, right? Some of you might be like, Professor Griffin, that's delusional. It might be. I don't know. I just being faced with like unfair treatment. I would maybe I just hope. But you can see how one is much more severe than the other, but both are really so deeply impactful. And I think I brought up the word fairness already. If I didn't, I am now. Deeply unfair. Fairness is one of the five general standards of critical thinking that we addressed at the beginning of the semester. Thinking about why we do what we do, being reflective, right? That's another critical thinking term. That's why I started the whole semester with critical thinking because it's so crucial to our sociological study. Where did we get our ideas? Especially if we step back and go, you know what? That's really not fair to think. You know what? That where did I pick up on that? That's problematic for this myriad of reasons. So thinking about where prejudice and discrimination exist, how we all can work to try to be better to each other. When prejudice and discrimination end up on a large scale, which is something we so often study in sociology, these large scale phenomena, now we're talking about institutional level. People's behaviors, people's thoughts, people's assumptions, people's prejudices, because I can speak, um, get built into the institutions themselves. And then we have systemic oppression. The education institution. There are absolutely oppressions built in based upon prejudices and discriminations that continue on today, that have happened historically, issues that are not getting solved, things along those lines. The medical institution, the prejudice and discrimination that people are subjected to from the institution itself, right? It's not even necessarily individual micro level interactions. It can be built into the way that the institution has rules and regulations and opportunities and everything else. So when we're talking about oppression, we're talking about those kinds of prejudices and discriminations just seeping in to large scale phenomenon that then everybody gets subjected to. Next, hopefully you've seen these words before, equality and equity. There's a reason there's a picture missing. So equality means everybody gets the same thing, as you can see. And you've got this picture and those two people have the same stool. You might have seen this picture in other ways. Um, Kids trying to reach like an apple tree or on crates trying to look over a fence at a baseball field. But those two stools are the same height. They got equal stools, right? Yeah, but one person still can't reach the top shelf. But they got the equal amount. And in a capitalistic society that we live in, we don't even really like when people necessarily get an equal amount because what if one person didn't earn that equal amount and they got it? Oh, as a society, we're not happy with that. We earn what we have in our society, right? And if you don't have it, then just work harder is kind of the premise that we as a capitalistic society oftentimes take, right? Equality has become a little bit of a buzzword. But let's take a look at the picture now. Yeah, one of those stools is way taller. But you get what you need with equality. Now everybody can reach the top shelf, which ironically, let's think about it then. It takes equity to create equality. You have to get what you need in order to kind of have an equal chance. I will go back again. As a society where we are told, well, why are you even taking this class? Why are you taking any classes? Because you've been told, work hard academically, earn that degree, earn that middle wage, hopefully plus earning job, like earn it. And if the people that we perceive to have opportunities that we perceive are not earned, we don't like that. Can you see what I mean about how these topics can really, really start to get us to sit down and go, wait a second, where do I get my ideas? Why do I respond in the way that I do? Do I feel comfortable with equity? Why or why not? Do I think the world should be an equitable place? Why or why not? What's fair? What am I comfortable with? Why am I comfortable with it? You know, a lot of people teach classes and I don't know, there's answers to questions, right? I don't like somebody's teaching a calculus class or something right now. I guess there's a math answer. I don't know what it is, but it's there. I've said before in classes, you might have heard me say it, and will probably say it in the future at some point, who knows? But a lot of times, I don't necessarily, there's not answers to this always, not nice, neat answers. We can start to understand and start to look at the world in new ways, but there's not always an answer. And we kind of, that's the job of us to be reflective and think about where do we get our answers from? How do we see the world? How do we want to contribute to what's created? How do we want to fight our instincts that possibly are harmful to each other? How do we want to nurture the things that help each other? I just have a lot more questions. Hopefully, after thinking about this for a few minutes, you're starting to too.